I like his setup. I like that on the back here we've got an aim point for just regular shooting, if you can see it, and then he can transition up here to this, and he has a white light incorporated. That's a Scout light by Surefire. It's okay. I think Olight's are a little bit better in their cast. So it's not a real collated beam, but it's okay. But he's got everything. So he'd probably use this mostly.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go with a pure passive IR system, go with that. I shouldn't say pure passive because you are putting an IR beam on there.
Right. So other
so
IR,
you do have an IR emitter that they could pick up.
Yeah. If they have any night vision. But I like the way this is mounted nice and low too, so that your distance doesn't change significantly as you move out with that laser.
Right.
I mean, we haven't tried any longer shots yet, but I'd imagine at 200 yards it's a different game.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
All right, I'll shoot some and then
let's do it.
We'll use all this footage in the tabletop and show you our infield take. Guns don't kill people, monkeys kill people. I'm putting that sticker on one of the top cases of my motorcycle. Why? Because it is hilarious. That's why. It's just funny. I saw it on Amazon. I bought it. Thought I'd put it on tabletop. What the heck? I'll put a link to it below if you guys want to pick it up. It's freaking hilarious. Guns don't kill people. Monkeys kill people. We do have a sense of humor here in the Nut and Fancy project. Still, this is 2021. I'll tell you, boys, it's kind of hard to have a sense of humor with what's going on. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But guess what? The show presses on. That's right. I keep reviewing stuff for your systems, and here we're going to have an upscale laser aiming module review. And I mean, this is like top of the line. It's expensive. Now, you may think that most TNPers, and frankly I do mostly, are really into value items. They don't like really expensive stuff. Let me tell you this. There is a contingent of awesome TNPers who have been with me for a very long time that buy very high-end stuff. High-end watches, high-end knives, high-end guns, high-end everything. This is a great example. This comes from Trevor. Thank you, Trevor. Thumbs up from the Nut and Fancy project. This is on loan from him. So I have a PVS-7 that will be reviewed separately. And it is working in conjunction with this item I am reviewing right here. I decided to break them out into two reviews just for the heck of it, so it'll be shorter. The Steiner DBAL A3. That stands for Dual Beam Aiming Laser. This will be my weak attempt to tell you all about it. There's things I really love about it, and there's some things I really hate about it. And it's really expensive. Link below. Buy it today. Buy it today. And this is top-end kit. I mean, this is like what the military uses, a variation of it, and it has a very good track record. Track record. Steiner, very well known in the military community. Here we go. Tabletop review. I'll try to make it as short as I can. I know what you're saying. Don't hurry, nothing. We love the feature-length stuff. By the way, that model's pretty hot. Yes, she is. That's Angie, I think, is the name we gave her. One of our 1/6 scale, super hot, unpaid, non-unionized female workers here in the project. She's just hanging out. She's fully kitted. Her taco pouch is kind of skitty-wampus. TD put like an M14 inside of her pack. That's not a realistic loadout. He just did it. I don't know why. Here's Angie. Angie, baby. And she's got 1911 in there, dudes. She's a 1911 gal. We'll put her over here as we get to business here on the tabletop on the DBAL A3. Okay, now this is Trevor's upper that he sent me. This is my AR-15 lower. And I think this is a monolithic Colt 6940, if I'm remembering right. If not, I'll annotate a correction. That he opted to get with its 4 quad rails, monolithic structure. Thumbs up from the Nut and Fancy to Trevor. Now, you guys know I'm huge on SAWC, right? And I want things to be lightweight. But sometimes we'll err on the firepower side. And that's what Trevor's done. He realizes, and we've been talking, that this is a heavier upper, but it's super stable, and he's putting a lot of stuff on it. So we have a Surefire Scout Light here, and this is the actual DBAL A3 with a very cool sticker. So speaking of hot women, let's give Trevor a round of applause for his taste in stickers. There you go. Very nice, very nice. That's his, not mine. I didn't put it on there. It just says I received it. And very nice. I like it. So I give Trevor a round of applause for his emphasis on stability. And even though it's a little bit heavier, everything that he's done I think is tasteful and very well done. Very well done. When I pulled this out of the box, when he shipped it to us, I was like, this is some good kit. I mean, there's no corners being cut here. I would actually opt for a different weapon light. I like, and you may see it in inset video where we're testing like an Olight. And that one threw a little bit better, actually a lot better than this one. But this one's compact, so this is a very tried and proven light. The DBAL A3, very tried and proven. It's got a nice tape switch here. And then he's got a very nice and expensive red dot here. So it's a micro T1 by Aimpoint. I'll put links to all this below. And we have another tasteful sticker, well done Trevor, there on top. So this is his setup, and he's got a VG. I didn't put that on. This is all as he has set it up. It ain't light. Okay, but again, I think Trevor has put some thought into this, and he's realizing this is going to add weight with the light, with the quad rail, VG. It is what it is. It's a little bit heavy, maybe a lot heavy for an AR-15. But it's a high-end dual beam aim, laser aiming system. Let's get into a couple things that I really don't like though on this, and I'm not going to cover every detail. There's so much to this module. I'm just kind of going to broad stroke it, and you guys can dig into more detail on the links below. There'll be all this technical specifications, user reviews at Optics Planet, which I do like to send you to. They're very pro 2A, so I do like using Optics Planet links whenever I can. But here's one thing I don't like about this. The switch is, to me, a simple-minded individual, and actually Angela said the same thing, pretty damn confusing. Okay, now this has, let me tell you what this has first. I really didn't intro it very well. This has an IR illuminator on this side. So this is actually the illuminator right here. And these are swivel covers that you can put over it. Okay, that's cool. And then we have an infrared laser and then a daylight laser on this side. You can see the stack right here. Also, you can cover those. So what the switch allows you to do is have a different combination of infrared illumination, different levels of infrared illumination, and different combinations of either an infrared or daylight beam. And that's what all this nomenclature means. And I'm not going to go through it all because I'm going to put it on screen right now from the manual. I'll just scan it in, and there it is. To me, it's very confusing. None of it makes any sense. Now, as you train with something, you'll understand what AL means. Low vis point is activated when the remote paddle switch is activated or fire button is pressed. Okay, gotcha. Infrared, AH, we use that a lot, by the way. High IR point is activated when the remote paddle switch or fire button is pressed. You got DL, IH, DH, da. It's confusing. Moreover, when we were testing it, Sean the TNP out in the very cold 17-degree desert, holy hell. Holy hell, it was cold out there that night. You'll see the footage as we're doing it here, shooting the gun, shooting the DBAL A3. Oh, I'm going to be honest, we got confused at what setting we're looking for. What we basically did is flip the switch until we saw what we wanted. We're like, hey man, I just want infrared. I don't want daylight laser. Train with this. I think maybe I'm just a doofus, and if I am, I apologize, but I think it could be more intuitive. The labeling on the switch is not intuitive whatsoever. I think it's just confusing as hell. And I think it's going to get worse in battle or in the fog of war when you're trying to figure something out. And let's say you're trying to make a combination of infrared illumination, IR beam, daylight beam, or one or the other. I say good luck. I'm a KISS guy, so keep it simple, stupid. Basically, I want a couple positions, and I want it to be labeled very clearly, and I want very positive switches on everything. Preferably, I want one push button. Now we do have an activation button right here, right? So it's on the top here. And if you press and hold it, I think it stays on for like 5 minutes or something like that. So you can activate it right here. And then your dual tape switch, one side is meant for like a Steiner weapon light and the other is for the DBAL A3. You can plug it in and you can use it that way as well. And I've got two switches. There's a single, and out in the desert we were experimenting with this switch too. Maybe we only had one side plugged in. Okay, so that's another thing, by the way, I did not like. So this was plugged in the right side, I should say the correct port here, and it did activate. In that case, the green laser is what we wanted, and this is a green laser module, which is visible in daytime. Very awesome. I love green lasers. But the switch wasn't working very good. So Trev, I don't know, and it was this one, not the single tape. I was having to press it very hard, and I was just reminded of why I don't like tape switches, albeit this one here that he has on the Surefire. This is the best mounting I've ever seen on a tape switch, albeit it's in a aluminum framed housing that's adding weight, but it's sure it works. These ones, for me, in that weather condition, curse of the desert, wasn't working that good. So I was cursing it, and Sean was having the same issue. So you may see me grasping it oddly, pushing it with my index finger, pushing it with my thumb, and it was just a bunch of horse shit. That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is just horse shit. And that's where I was. So I didn't like that. I forgot to activate it with this. I probably should have. And we were shooting with NVG PVS-7, so we were just mostly using the IR laser on it, and that's what we used. So I probably should just pushed and held this down, and I forgot to do that. So that's my fault. Train with it. And like I say, I don't want to rant about this too much. All this, tell me what you think in comment. It's just complex. It's complex. And if you worked with it all the time and you shot it all the time, I think it would work good. Another thing I don't like, and we're getting the negative out of the way, and then I want to talk about the positive stuff. You're not supposed to leave the battery in it, and this is from the manual. Now, when I read this, I was like, WTH, what the hell? How am I supposed to put this battery in, which, by the way, is tedious to put in. One, you have an occlusion with your front sight. Now, smartly, Trevor didn't have a locking front sight. This one swivels out of the way. We'd unscrew this, and you would find in there a single CR123 primary battery, which, by the way, is oriented completely backwards. The positive side goes to the spring, which threw me for a loop. Yeah, so the battery is hard to get in, and then you're not supposed to store it with a battery in it. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and I haven't seen a laser aiming module, a flashlight system like that, and I could dig in the manual and show you where it says that. And then Trevor says if you have it on standby, like here, there's the off position right here, okay? So there's your off position, and then let's say you put it in this position, and you're not activating any switches, so the DBAL A3 is not on, the batteries will run out. And by the way, I think that did happen with us in the desert, because it does have an indicator light in the back here, and it does show, and we didn't see that light, so we replaced the battery. That's a big downside, because I want a system that I can leave with a battery in it all the time. Now, granted, I don't have a lot of use with this Steiner, and maybe I'm missing something. And maybe if I had it and I used it a lot and I would learn it better, then I might have a different take. This is just, everything I'm saying here is just an initial user take, because I got to get this stuff back to Trev. He needs it for a system. Nice. Okay, so that size, I don't like it. The size is big. You're going to have, as Trevor opted, a very secure rail system. I think a monolithic rail, one piece, i.e., see how this is just one piece. This is not like a handguard that's attached, is a good choice. Like H&K 416, this Colt upper, smart, but you're going to be taking on more weight. You know, just think about that. Now, you could maybe put it on a handguard, but man, you got to really make sure that handguard is really rock solid and it's not going anywhere, not rotating, because your whole aiming system for the weapon is here. It's not attached to the normal receiver. So if you do have a handguard, keep that in mind. Maybe not the best option. Adds a lot of weight up front. I don't like a lot of weight where my barrel is. That adds swing weight. It makes the gun slower to get into action. I've talked about that a lot through the years. That's just my take. I don't like a lot of weight up here. But firepower versus mobility, this gives you a lot of different options for sighting. Not to mention the IR illuminator, which we'll get to in a second. So, weight, I'm not super digging. Now, I think that's mostly the negative. Oh, I guess price. It's not super inexpensive. You'll see the price when you click on those links below. Top kit costs top money. That's what you have, dudes. Now, the good thing is that, one, this is a military proven unit. And I would love to talk, by the way, to, and I'll probably see it in comment, guys who ran DBALs or whatever they call them in the military. Forget what they call them, PQ, something, something. Tell me how you like this system. I suspect that an operator will just leave this in one position and they won't mess with it. And I think that's how this system would make a lot of sense. So there's the off position, and you go, well, I'm just going to go to AH. This is where I operate all the time. Now that makes sense because like you know what it is, albeit it's hard to see. You can't see the lettering, and you need to look at it. I had to like use a flashlight one time. What setting am I on? Because I was trying at the time to learn what the lettering meant, and then I just forgot. Okay, good stuff. Once you zero either the daylight laser or the IR laser, they're both co-witnessed. So one or the other will be shooting right on. So the co-witnessed beams, awesome. And like all lasers, as you know, and you'll probably see us shooting, you don't have to shoulder the weapon to shoot it. In fact, we found that probably shooting it from the hip was best.
Steiner,
albeit, and here comes just a laser observation all around. We're hunting for the laser beam, guys. I'll just tell you that's how it is. The downside to having a laser beam is it can get lost in what I will call the media. No, not the mainstream media or the Communist Party feeds. I'm talking about the media you're shooting at. In our case, a steel target. So it was hard to get to find it sometimes. We're wasting time as opposed to had I just not had MVG on and I just go to his aim point micro, I'm right there. It's really fast. I've always said that about lasers. I think sometimes they're overplayed a little bit. The thing with the DBAL that is super cool is you have an IR laser, and with MVG, then you're super stealth. No one can see you unless they also have MVG, which is unlikely in most situations. And that's how it's designed to be operated. And I think the daylight green laser is kind of a secondary option. Oh, I remember. It was a DBAL-2 that was used by the U.S. military, I think. And I think it's been superseded by a different one. Okay, so that's good. Nice big adjustment switches on this Steiner. You can see it right here. And they're labeled clearly, so you can adjust for windage and elevation right here. I do like the momentary switch right here. That's super cool. I like the operation light back here that you can't see. I haven't done a good job. The switches, the tape switches, do lock in very solidly, very mil-specky. I like that. We have the IR illuminator right here. I like that it has it, but what do I always say in my flashlight reviews about the power of any beam? In this case, it's an infrared beam designed to illuminate the target with MVGs. I say that it's all dependent on your power source, and here we only have one CR123. Dudes, I'm going to tell you that's not a lot of power. So if there's complaints on the DBAL power of the infrared beam, that's why. There's only one CR123. This is a very compact unit. Let me give you a reference point. So here comes a SOG Trident AT, link below, awesome knife. So this is a SOG Trident AT compared to the DBAL. I was ranting about its size SAWC, but it actually is pretty small. My biggest issue is that it's wider than most rails. On this rail it's not because it's a fat rail. That's my issue. I like the caps. They're attached. They're mil-spec. I've seen that a lot with Aimpoint as well. I'm not sure if it came with a throw lever on this or if Trevor put that on, but a nice throw lever on this. Really nice. I mean, how this is integrated right here and interfacing with a Surefire light is very clean. Notice how trim this is. This is a CR123 powered light. What we see Olight doing, and I'm just using Olight as an example, is for a firepower type light where you're going, you want max range, you're going with a 21700 battery, like the Odin. That's why that thing just kills this light. It destroys it. I mean, Sean and I were testing the Surefire Scout light, and I guess this will be my review on it, kind of, sort of. And this is a good light. It really is, but it's outclassed with current technology. To 50 yards, it'll be fine. But if you want something better and more intimidating, I would go with one of the ones I'll put below. The Odin is amazing. Also, the Baldr Pro, still amazing. This one is actually... I'm trying to think if we compared the Baldr Pro against this. That's an Olight product. I can't remember. But I've tested the Baldr, and it's fantastic. Okay, stuff I like. It is water resistant. 20 meter waterproofness is what it features. A Steiner DBAL A3. I like that. And that's basically it right there. Now let's back it up a little bit and talk about philosophy. Nothing fancy. Would you recommend that I get a DBAL A3 if I want an infrared laser capability, which means you're pairing it with some sort of night vision, like a PVS-7 in this case? I think this is no, I don't think, I know. There's a Gen 3 intensifier tube by ATN. Or should I go with something else? Do you want my honest answer? I know you do. I know you do. Well, I would probably go with something else. One, this is very expensive. It's adding weight in a very critical point in our gun, maybe more than we need to add. You have to decide for yourself, guys, though, whether you're going for firepower or mobility. That's your decision, not mine. I would probably go with a dedicated IR laser, and that's all it has in that situation. And then a weapon light, and that's it. And by doing that, I'm going to save money. I'm going to get super simple. So I press one button, and I think Olight has something like that. Like it's an IR Olight, Baldr Pro that's IR. If I can find it, I'll put a link to that. That's what I would do. It's going to be lighter, more compact than this, super simple. You won't have the confusing nomenclature, the confusing tape switches. And I know, I'm just a doofus. People who have this go, it's not confusing to me at all. I know. That's my recommendation. I would go with that. I love the idea of having an IR laser. The advantage of that is, and we'll talk maybe a little bit more about it when I talk about the PVS-7, hopefully a brief video, is that you have a better field of view, and so you have night vision outside your weapon optic, right? So I've reviewed a night scope before, but that means you're looking in, like the ATN Thor, you're looking through that scope, and once you come out of it, you don't have night vision capability. Here, this is strapped to your helmet, to your harness, and you can see it, and then you have the advantage of being able to either use a tape switch, good luck with that, or press right here, and then you have your infrared lasing option. So that's cool. That's cool. And that's about it. I mean, down and dirty. There's more technical aspects, again, that I'm not going to cover in here because we're already past 20 minutes in this review, and I want it to be relatively short. Well made. Very cool. It has a second cool to it. I'm not going to lie. It's very military. It's military used, and a lot of guys like that. This whole system is actually. This is military. That's military. They use micros, I believe, as well. I myself am more of a value person. I think I can get the same or even easier to use. I won't say better, but easier to use capability by spending less money. I mean, this is a class 3, if I didn't say so, IR laser, class 1 green laser, about 0.7 milliwatts, I think, is what it's shooting. And it might be, and the battery life they're saying is 3 hours. 3 hours. There you go. That's a Steiner DBAL A3, nothing fancy tabletop review. Thanks to Trevor, a TNP Patreon member, who loaned me this very cool rig. Trev, I'm going to send it back to you ASAP. I hope you never have to use it for anything other than recreation. Nothing fancy. Out.
I can't tell if I'm hitting. I'm probably shooting the cone.
It's up and slightly right of the cone.
Gotcha. Yeah, this pressure switch isn't coming on.
It's a little tough. And when you throw the visible light on there, it makes it easy to see the target just for a second.
Let me do a flash and a light.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know it's set. I wonder if my battery died in this thing.
It was tough to hit the switch. I think I...
Keep filming. Yeah, my battery's dead. See, that should be on right now. That red light.
Huh.
I'm laughing because this is what I talk about all the time.
Right.
The difficulty of the desert and everything we're doing.
Yeah.
This thing eats batteries apparently. So we'll put a new battery in.
All right. Give it a shot.